biggest questions for the Houston Rockets heading into this season. How much of an impact is Kevin Durant going to have? Ime Udoka said that he looks at Durant as a guy who will help the Rockets become more consistent offensively and help them close games. I believe that'll happen. Look, with the way things were for them offensively in the playoffs, where Jalen Green couldn't handle the extra attention he was getting, you needed to do something this offseason. You couldn't roll it back going into this season the way that both Ime Udoka and Rafael Stone, the Rockets GM, said at Media Day. No, like that was not a play. But luckily, Kevin Durant wanted to be here. He likes Ime Udoka from prior working experience, and Royal Ivey, the assistant coach, is one of Durant's best friends. So there were a lot of things that made this a not necessarily lock to happen during the offseason, but it's something the Rockets should have done. Will Durant be able to handle that extra attention in the way that Jalen Green couldn't? I mean, you'd hope so. The thing for Durant is he's so tall, he can shoot over everybody. But he's going to be getting a lot of attention in the playoffs, and it's really about the guys around Durant more than it's about him. How long will Durant be here? At Media Day, when asked that question, he said that he does expect to sign a new deal. Here he is last week at Rockets Media Day.
This state, this city, so it feels right.
Kevin, last season I got an opportunity to speak with you after the game.
Oh, wait a second. Hang on. Wrong question. Wrong question there. 47:59 is where we're going. Paul, get your time codes right. By the way, I feel like a reporter was asking about a question that he had asked Durant last year. Anyway, more Kevin Durant.
Do you see yourself signing a contract extension with the Rockets?
I do see myself signing a contract extension. I can't tell you exactly when that'll happen, but I do see it happening. And just seeing the quick progression of this franchise from where it was right after that James Harden, Chris Paul era. Seeing when Ime got here and how he turned it around so fast. Then have some connections here within the organization, people I work with around the league already. So it just felt organic and natural coming into the gym, getting be a Houston Rocket for the first time. So I always have respect for this coaching staff, this fan base, this state, this city. So it feels right.
He said it feels right, and he did say that he expects to sign an extension. We'll see if that actually happens. I believe it will. I think that for Durant, it is important for him to get a title where it seems like he's done it on his own. He loves basketball, and while he might say otherwise, I'm sure he does care about how he's going to be remembered. And I think winning a title so close to where he played college ball as the quasi-leader of a young team with a lot of guys who I think work hard and do things the right way, since none of those guys are established stars, it does look, say the Rockets do go on to win a title with Durant, like Durant was the reason it happened. Now, historically, years later, we might say, no, it was actually Alperen Şengün. No, it was actually Amen Thompson. But I'm sure that is something that he thinks about. Said all the right things in that answer as well. And I really do think that just the Ime Udoka effect on the Houston Rockets has been the best thing that has happened to this franchise since the arrival of Chris Paul. And since it's been longer than a year before the main star got mad about it and tried to have Paul traded and had Paul traded like Harden fucking did. It's nice to see Udoka's had some staying power. Harden and Paul should have worked longer than it did. It should have. And that's all on Harden. And most people who are James Harden fans, I'm probably going to piss you off every single time I talk about him, but I just do not understand how you like them. I really don't. You should have standards. Oh, but look at his numbers. Okay, so you didn't watch him every night. Oh, I did. I had to. It was my job. It sucked to watch. It was brutal. Doris Burke was overkilling free throw merchant in the NBA Finals to the point that she's not even a part of the NBA Finals team anymore. But the original free throw merchant was James Harden with all his flopping and flailing. Hell, he took advantage of the landing zone foul where every single three he took, notice where his feet landed. They almost were always 1 to 2 feet ahead of where he shot. He would like fade back afterwards, hoping that he could catch a defender running into his legs and then perhaps drop on the ground. Remarkably durable player, both in terms of the ability to go out after the game and not be that hungover the next game that he played and still play well. And on top of that, with how limited his injuries were, you know, like he was out there every night. I'll give him props for that, but it was fucking horrible to watch. And the lack of defense he played was a disgrace. Oh, he was so good playing post defense. Oh, wow. A big guy is hard to back down when somebody similarly sized is trying to back him down. Wow, he's a great post defender. The post defense argument about Harden was this fucking stupidest thing that constantly came from Rockets fans. He's a great post defender. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Oh. Absolute worst segment of Houston sports fans, the people that actually liked watching that guy. Low standards indeed. Anyway, is Kevin Durant finally going to be happy here? I mean, you heard him say all the right things when asked about a contract extension. Here he is with my good friend, an old radio co-host, Vanessa Richardson, talking about his workplace here in Houston, one that on paper certainly seems a lot better than ones he's been in the past.
But Ime coached you in Brooklyn and Team USA. Royale and DJ, hook 'em horns. Jeff, Steven, Josh. You have the chance to win, and you have the chance to win with people you really like and feel connected to. Is that important to you at this point in your career?
Yeah, it's important. It's important, but to come to work every day and see those people and continue to invest in one another's personal journey and professional journey is always a joy.
I always love it when people talk about journeys as far as their career goes. I suppose it's right.
Especially in this business, is so much different turnaround every single year. You get new teammates, new support staff, new coaching staff sometimes, you know, so to build those relationships and keep those bonds is hard to do, you know, so grateful that we was able to, you know, all those names that you named, we were able to stay connected throughout the years, and it's brought us back together, and, you know, looking forward to going on this journey with him.
So that's Kevin Durant. I think he's going to like it here. I don't think there's any obnoxious personalities on the court, off the court that he's going to have to deal with. I think that he's going to really enjoy playing with Amen Thompson and Alperen Şengün, who I think will continue to improve. We'll see how much improvement we get out of Jabari Smith Jr., who didn't play nearly enough in the playoffs, and from Tari Eason. We'll talk about those guys a little bit later on. I think it's going to work here. I don't know if that means a championship, especially with Fred VanVleet tearing his ACL, but I do think it's going to work here. More comments. Mr. Michael Myers, do you think Russell Westbrook signs with the Rockets? Jesus Christ.
I don't like that kind of thing.
Please, let's not. Are we so desperate to go back to our exes? Some of these Rockets fans want to bring Harden back all the time. Alan Bonilla 713 says on TikTok, the strip clubs love James Harden. I Have Fallen asks, how long is Durant playing today? From the sound of things, not that long. Amador Rodriguez says it's Charles Barkley all over again. Come on. That's an overstatement too. Charles Barkley was fat here. I think he'd probably even admit it, that he was just like those women in San Antonio. SSJ4 Drew on the YouTube really doesn't like Durant. I think he'll sign an extension here. Sounds like Kyrie saying he wants to retire a Celtic. But, I mean, Kyrie Irving was always full of shit and continues to be full of shit. I'm a free thinker, man. I don't disagree that there's a chance that Durant doesn't necessarily re-sign here, but he's going to keep his options open as long as he possibly can. Like, he doesn't have to sign that extension right now. You would want to see how it goes, for sure. But I don't expect things to be bad here. Tony the Handsome brings up that Scottie Pippen was actually bad here in Houston. Much more of an issue than Charles Barkley. Hang on a second, y'all. Hang on a second. We unmuted the microphone successfully this time. How about that? How about that? Javi Goodtimes asks, will Durant be the last intro of the starting lineup? I mean, he probably should be. More questions for the Rockets entering the 2025-2026 season. Important to remember that Kevin Durant just turned 37, so I think you definitely have to set a limit on how many games he plays. Can we stop reminding people in their 30s how old they are? Did anyone see this moment with Jeff Green, who is still on the Houston Rockets at Rockets Media Day? I mean, this is bullying. This is age discrimination.
I'm happy that we're in this position and, truly thankful.
Jeff, you and Kevin have been in the league for almost 2 decades now. For the first... Sorry.
All right, man. Go ahead.
But for the first 10 or 15 years, obviously there was a trend.
That is bullying. That is some fucking bullying. For the first 10 or 15 years. The funny thing is, too, there's so many people that are now starting to cover the local teams. And me, 36 years old, I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I'm way older than these guys. Their historical grasp of the sports that I follow is severely limited compared to mine. But if I talk about things that happened way back in the day, I will date myself and probably annoy people. Back in my day, things were this, things were that, but now things are something else entirely. But I'm with Jeff Green there. Don't fucking remind us of how old we are. Come on, be nice. Biggest questions for the Rockets entering the 2025-2026 season. Who improved the most on the top tier of Rockets talent this offseason? Is it Amen Thompson or is it Alperen Şengün? Thompson is going to be a wait and see kind of thing. At Media Day, he was asked about improving his range, how much better he's got on that front. Here is, in my opinion, the most athletic player in the NBA.
Corner, and also how much will that open up your entire offensive game?
Yeah, I feel like I'm very confident in my shot right now. So not just corner, but threes from, everywhere on the court, maybe not Curry range, but threes a lot more. And I know what my game is. I know my game is getting downhill, creating for myself and others. So I'm never going to get addicted to the three, but I feel like I'm confident in what I've been working on. So
Corner, and also
how much better, realistically, can Thompson be as a shooter if he's working on it as much as he has this offseason? Truly. How much better can he get? I think this is going to be a multi-year process for him to be somebody who can actually shoot from outside with consistency. Which sucks to hear. I think everyone wants to see that growth immediately. But, I mean, think about it. How much better, realistically, can you get as a shooter in just one offseason? You can be more confident. But also, at what point does that confidence lead to you shooting too much and to Ime Udoka putting you on the bench, which Udoka does from time to time? Things to wonder about. More from Ahmed Thompson at Rockets Media Day. He was asked about comments that 3-and-D acquisition Dorian Finney-Smith, who's recovering from an ankle injury, had to say about his mentality. Here is Ahmed Thompson with a funny little zinger at Rockets Media Day.
Hi, Amen. Dorian Finney-Smith just said earlier today that you need to not give an F and shoot it with confidence.
Yeah.
Do you think you're at a place where you don't give an F and you are shooting with confidence?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I don't give a F and shoot it with confidence. You know what I mean? Me and Dorian talk about that all the time. So, I mean, last year you saw when he played us, he think he airballed the first 2 threes, and then he made 5 straight. So, yeah, don't give an F, guys.
I don't give an F. Cuss! Fuck! Shit! Cock! Balls! Those words I can't say, even on the internet, but there are a lot of words I now can say. This is still one that I don't want to say, though. So, Chris Broussard, take it away.
I don't like that kind of thing.
My bad, this one.
Is the man retarded? Let me apologize for using that word. Oh. I have my first cousin. We just put him to. He died a few months ago.
I feel like Thompson's improvement from last year to this year is not going to be on the same level that we see Alperen Şengün step up from last year to this year. Due to the Eurobasket tournament this offseason, I don't think anyone's had as much of a chance, in the United States at least, to really work on their game in high leverage competition like Şengün, which is something that we were hoping for. I thought after that Rockets-Warriors series that even though Şengün earned the respect of Draymond Green, that he needed to work on his stamina, he needed to work on his strength, he needed to work on his range, like a lot of things that he has to get better at in one off season. But Şengün's just more skilled offensively than Ahmed Thompson. So I am expecting Şengün to make a bigger leap from this year to the next than Thompson will. I think Eurobasket is going to, at the very least, improve his conditioning. And I think that there are probably other elements of his game that are now better after Eurobasket. Şengün talked about his Eurobasket experience at Rockets Media Day. Here he is being asked about it and talking about it. I thought he made some very interesting points along the way while talking about playing in Europe for Turkey. Let's unmute this bad boy.
Hello.
Congratulations on the Eurobasket run.
Thank you so much.
How do you see some of the playmaking and the three-point shooting that you exhibited there translating to here with the Rockets?
Over there I had so much freedom. So coach was like, giving all that to me, and even the players, they were telling me. So, it was my country, my team. It's always different things, different job in there and over here. So, I was just doing what I can do the best and what is best for the team. So
Very interesting little word right there, right? Freedom. He's the best player on Team Turkey, I'm assuming. I think he has been called Turkish Michael Jordan. So naturally, the Turkish national team coach is going to let Alperen Şengün do things that Ime Udoka probably isn't going to. And I know there's a lot of Turkish Rockets fans out there who are really Turkish Şengün psycho stands, some of them. Like there's a part of that fan base which is just fucking annoying online. If you've gone on Rockets Twitter, you've seen them, where these people believe that Şengün's development is more important than the Rockets developing as a team. They think the Rockets basically just say, all right, let Şengün do whatever he wants, like it's the national team. But it's the National Basketball Association. There's guys on the Rockets who maybe aren't quite as all-around skilled as Şengün, but he's got to play within a team. He's got to play defense. If he gets benched from time to time, that's because Ime Udoka is trying to make a point. So it was interesting that he mentioned freedom there. He is not going to have the freedom that he had in Eurobasket. But the good news about having that freedom that he had in Eurobasket is that he actually got to work on his game in high leverage situations. More from Alperen Şengün, and shout out to the follow-up question about freedom that you're about to hear.
I was pretty confident out there.
It sounds like you maybe don't expect to have the same freedom here.
No, I mean, of course I will. He may give me the same freedom over here, but just all the work I had in this summer, I just there was a close time I can put it in there, so I just showed it there. So that was a kind of Eurobasket was kind of practice for me to come over here for a huge season. So I was testing what I can do over there, and at the same time win the games. So I wasn't just trying to do too much. I was just trying to do normal, so I can see what I can do and show it over here when I come back.
I'm looking forward to how much his game got better. We have the preseason to at the very least see some of it, and hopefully we see him with a little bit more range. If you take a look at his stats in Eurobasket, Şengün, in how many games did they play? 9 games in August and September, was from outside 7 for 22. He did not shoot threes very often. He was 2 for 3 against Estonia on September 1st. He was 4 for 7 against Serbia on September 3rd. I think that was the game that he played, I'm assuming, against Nikola Jokic. Not very efficient in the final against Germany, who won Eurobasket, 1 for 5 from outside. He shot a little bit from outside, 31.8%. How are we feeling about that? Does that mean this year you expect him to be given the green light by Ime Udoka to shoot it from outside? I honestly don't know. He had great numbers at Eurobasket. He averaged 21.6 points a game, 10.1 boards, 6.6 assists, a steal, and a block a game. He led the tournament in total assists, total rebounds. He became the youngest player to record a triple-double in Eurobasket history. He was a finalist for the MVP award. And he had 57 offensive rebounds, 23 more than any other player. The actual Eurobasket MVP was Dennis Schroeder for Germany. You might know Dennis Schroeder because he once compared the NBA's trade deadline to slavery, and he thinks that the reason in Germany he's not thought of like Dirk Nowitzki is because Dirk's white and he's black. Not because Dirk won an NBA championship against the LeBron Heat and won an MVP. Like Dennis Schroeder in the NBA has been all over the place. He's a journeyman. Weird narrative to push, but hey, do what you got to do, back to Şengün. Nearly 32% from outside on 22 shots or so. I think it's important to note that the European three-point line is a little bit closer at the very top. It's also important to note that European basketballs have different texture, different grip than NBA ones. Their weight varies. In the NBA, it has to be standard 22 ounces. In the Eurobasket, apparently it varies between 20 and 23. Classic Europeans not dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But the NBA three-point line has shorter corners and a longer top of the arc. European three-point line is 6.75 meters at the top, and in the corners it's 6.6 meters. NBA's corners are 6.7 meters, and at the top it's 7.24 meters. Alperen Şengün, how much of a leap will he take forward playing with a guy like Kevin Durant, who I would imagine he's always going to be able to kick the ball back out to outside and get plenty of assists? Here is Şengün at Media Day talking about that last week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Michael Jordan of Turkey.
You know, two main games, off the balls, everything, and you're gonna help me a lot. I already know that. I don't need to help him that much. He already does much stuff, but you know, I can hopefully get him easy shots. I can, because I know he don't get that much easy shots in his career, because who's guarding him is all focused on him. So hopefully we can make easy shots for him, create good shots. You know, he's one of the best scorer in this NBA history. So, you know, I know he's gonna make my job easy. Hopefully I can make his job a little bit easier. So, you know, like you said, we have a lot of talent, but it's end of the day, he's a hard worker, really hard worker, and this is really good for us to see. He's really working hard, you know, so we're going to look for him to lead us this year, and I'm going to be helping him to leading this team and, you know, win a lot of games. So I'm really excited, yeah.
Alperen Şengün, everybody. As far as the other Rockets top-tier players, not named Kevin Durant, it's Simon Thompson, it's Alperen Şengün. I think Şengün's going to take a bigger step forward than Thompson, and I think it's because he got to play in Eurobasket this offseason. Thompson, I think it's going to take a little bit longer for him to develop as a scorer, specifically from outside. Who's going to be best on that next tier of Rockets players? Who's going to take that leap forward between Jabari Smith Jr., who we all wanted to see more in the playoffs, and Tari Eason, who stunk in the playoffs for the Rockets? Who do you think is going to be better this coming season? Who's going to make more of a leap? I think most people would say Tari Eason is a better player at this moment in time, but the upside with Smith, because of his height and because of his ability to shoot, is really, really intriguing, and I think makes this an interesting little debate. Loved hearing this from Jabari Smith Jr. at Media Day, where he said that the expectation, even with Kevin Durant not there anymore, is this. Here is Jabari Smith Jr.
Fun.
After the strides you guys made last season, what do you think should be the expectations for this team going forward, especially for this year?
I mean, I think the expectation should be a championship. I think everybody around here, everybody in the organization feels we're capable of that, and it's something that you shouldn't sugarcoat. It's something that you want to express and know that we're trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're trying to do. We feel like we're ready for it. Got a taste of the playoffs. We know what it takes. We have the team for it, have the coaching staff for it, have the support from the fans. So why not? That's what we're shooting for.
I like that mentality. And, I mean, last year, I think that wasn't the mentality. But, you can win during a rebuild. You should be striving to win during a rebuild. I think tanking culture, which is a plague upon us because of the fucking Sixers, makes a lot of people think, no, if you're not going to win the title, what's the point? Try to get the best draft picks you possibly can. Just reprehensible, the line of thinking. Absolutely terrible. Fuck all those people. You just want sports welfare to bail you out. Like, honestly, go fuck yourself. If you're someone that subscribes to that line of thinking, I think you're just an awful sports fan. Awful. Oh, if you're not going to win the title, take. Fuck you. Like, Patriots had the number 3 pick in the draft a couple of years ago. They got Drake May. Oh, but if they had tanked, they could have had the number 1 pick and gotten Caleb Williams. Well, look how that's going for the Bears compared to the Commanders and the Patriots right now. Or, oh God, why did the Texans win the last game of the year against the Colts, who I've hated my whole life? Oh no! And they draft the better quarterback between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Who would have thought that quarterback that's my size, actually a little smaller than me, would go first overall in the NFL draft, but that did happen, despite him not having anything close to Kyler Murray's skill set of quickness and speed and all that stuff. That's neither here nor there. Who's going to be better between Jabari Smith Jr. and Tari Eason this coming season? Who's going to take a bigger step forward? Tari Eason had some very interesting quotes over the last couple of days. At Rockets Media Day, he brought up how he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He thinks that he didn't get enough credit to this point in his career. Here is Tari Eason, everybody. As my mouse dies. Oh, that's annoying. Here is, hang on a second, Rockets player Tari Eason at Media Day last week.
Tari, a couple of days ago, you were on Twitter and you were kind of listing some of your accomplishments. Just what sparked that, and then do you feel underrated? Do you feel like you're not getting enough credit for what you maybe have been able to accomplish so far in your career?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, there was a list that came out of the top 100 players, and I wasn't on it, and I believe I'm a top 100 player in the NBA. I think my numbers speak for that. I think the things and the numbers that I've put up in the minutes that I've shown that I'm a top 100 player. And I mean, if you don't believe that, then I guess you could just compare it to somebody else averaging what I'm averaging in the time that I have. So, yeah, I think my numbers match up pretty well.
He's mad he's not on that top 100 list. I mean, the guy lives too online, much like his mom. It's not healthy. You shouldn't care whether or not you're on the top 100 list, especially when he brings up the stats that he has. And he has pretty damn good stats to open his career. In case you didn't know, Tari Eason last year averaged 12 points a game. He shot nearly 49% from the field. He shot 34% from outside. For his career, he's averaging 10.3 points a game. He's a little under 35% from outside. He plays great defense. He hustles. Like, he does a lot of great things. You like Tari Eason. But why does he care about not being on that top 100 list? Also, hey, man, for what it's worth, a lot of people's first experience with you have been you talking shit to Draymond Green before missing the playoffs during the 2023-2024 season and then struggling in the playoffs this past season. you got to earn your way into that top 100, and you probably are a top 100 player in the NBA. I don't really feel like doing the stats comparisons. I just don't think you should be as focused on whether or not you're in that list. If it provides you the fuel to take a big step forward this season, great. And I like that he's ambitious. Tari said that he wants a bigger role offensively this year at Rockets Media Day when asked a two-part question about if he's watched any movies that he liked this offseason in addition to what he's looking to do this year. Here is Tari Eason at Rockets Media Day.
The best movie you watched this offseason?
Yes, I do want a more elevated role, and I think you'll see that with just my improvements in my game. I'm just going to let my game do the talking as far as that movie I've watched.
I don't really care about the movie he watched, to be perfectly honest, but I guess he's a movie guy. He's a cinephile. That is fun. He clarified a couple of days ago, and apologies in advance for all the dribbling in the background. This is one of my big frustrations during NBA season, is that every single little bit of audio has a bunch of dribbling in the background. It would be nice if we could get past that. But here is Tari Eason clarifying what he wants to do in an expanded role offensively this season at, I believe, Rockets practice.
More minutes and more opportunities. I think in the past 3 years, I mean, my minutes have kind of been where they within the 20 to 25 range. So trying to bump up my minutes and then bump up my opportunities. Obviously, I've worked on my game. Just being able to have maybe even one player in for me, a half or something like that. I don't know, anything like that. Just being able to pick my spots and something like that. But
more minutes, more opportunities, being able to pick my spots. Yeah, I know. That's frustrating, right? Can't hear a goddamn thing. Can the people who go to shoot around, can you carry microphones on you? Please, for the love of God. Like, good microphones. It's not too much to ask. You're recording with your camera. How do you think it's going to fucking sound? Why are you posting this? Anyway. Omar F. says, shout out to Vanessa. Yeah, shout out to Vanessa. That's my friend. Saw Vanessa a couple of weeks ago. The girlfriend and I hung out with Vanessa. We had a good old night down the street. So the top tier for the Rockets in terms of talent, it's Kevin Durant, Amin Thompson, Alperen Şengün. The next tier is Tari Eason and Jabari Smith Jr. Fred VanVleet's probably in that tier as well. But now since he's torn his ACL, who else are you putting into that conversation? Is Dorian Finney-Smith there? Dorian Finney-Smith, the Rockets brought on as a 3 and D guy. Finney-Smith last year shot 41% from outside. He averaged 8 points a game, and he plays really good defense. He had off-season surgery on his ankle. Says that he's getting better, that he's running, but it seems like he's going to, at the very least, miss the season opener, if not longer. He had one of the funniest moments at Rockets Media Day when talking about the injury that he suffered. Let's get to that little moment. I believe Brian Windhorst is the one asking him the question here.
Teams, and to have somebody on the court like me who can shoot the ball, I feel like it gives us an advantage. It put teams in tough closeout situations, and I'm excited to get some of those corner threes.
Dorian, I know you were dealing with that injury for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered if you could just describe how, maybe a few years even.
Yeah, the last 2 years, really down the stretch of last season, just but I'm a competitor, like I said, so I want to play. Sometimes I probably made the injury worse because my nut ass don't want to sit down. Excuse my language, but I don't like to sit. So you know, you might have to save me from myself, and I wish I'd have had somebody to just tell me to, take it easy 2 years ago, and I'd probably be in a better position. But that's what got me here. Being that hard-nosed guy. So sometimes the things that get you, where you at can also hurt you. So I'm learning. Sometimes you gotta listen to the body.
I don't think Udoka is the guy to make Dorian Finney-Smith perhaps be a little more careful out there, just given the kind of mentality that Udoka wants everyone on the Rockets to have. But in case you missed that little moment with Brian Windhorst, let's play that clip again, because he said something pretty funny there.
In the league, what is it about this team that made you look at it from the outside?
On the court like me, who can.
Here we go. Goodness gracious.
You were dealing with that injury for a while.
Mhm.
I wondered if you could just describe how, like maybe a few years even?
Yeah, the last 2 years, really down the stretch of last season, just, but I'm a competitor, like I said, so I want to play. Sometimes I probably made the injury worse because my nut ass don't want to sit down. Excuse my language, but.
My nut ass don't want to sit down. Anyway, that's Dorian Finney-Smith. I think we're gonna like him. I think he is going to be a fan favorite once he actually gets out there on the court. Here's another funny moment from Media Day where Finney-Smith talks about his role. He wants to be the primary defender going up against every team's best player.
Amazing. And I'm excited for this year. But as far as my role with the team is just be who I am, and that's a communicator. Try to help it as much as I can, especially on the defensive end. I know I played a bunch of vet guys. I probably can help, men, and with some of his defensive assignments, probably give him a break, or probably fuss with him because I'm gonna want to guard the main guy. But just be who I am, shoot the ball when I'm open.
I like that he might be competing with Amin Thompson about who guards the best player. Some nights, maybe Thompson won't be the best defender in the league. Finney-Smith takes over. Some nights, Thompson's probably going to sit out or maybe be hurt too. So you hope Finney-Smith is good to go at some point later on in the year. More big questions for the Rockets going into this season. How far away is Reed Sheppard from being on the same tier as a guy like a Jabari Smith or a Tari Eason or even a Dorian Finney-Smith? Is that something that he's ever going to reach? Hell, even Steven Adams or Clint Capella, the guy you brought in after his time here back in the day to potentially give yourself more opportunities to run the double big lineup. Ime Udoka said that Sheppard took a nice jump during the offseason. What that means, we shall see. He's going to have plenty of opportunities to play. Sheppard said at Rockets Media Day his confidence is at an all-time high, especially when it comes to his confidence in his body. Here is Reed Sheppard at Rockets Media Day.
Confidence level at, considering now you're going to have to take on even more of an expanded role and be more involved in the playmaking with Fred out?
No, I mean, my confidence is right now is at an all-time high. I feel really comfortable with where I am in my body, and just being here the last month, just continue to get in the gym, get stronger, kind of getting the hang of things with the guys, and just kind of getting the flow and the chemistry. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to the season.
How does he look younger than he was last year? He looks younger. So that is Reed Sheppard. Look, only way for us to... There's no way to know whether or not he's taking that step forward until we actually see it in action. There just isn't. I'm hopeful, but I'm not even necessarily cautiously optimistic. I'm I'm not expecting him to take that next leap. I think that his size is going to hurt him. Great three-point shooter, potentially. Great defender, but he ain't big. Can a player of his stature play in today's NBA? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. I am glad Cam Whitmore's gone. I'm so tired of the other annoying faction of the Rockets fan base. There's the psychotic Şengün stands from Turkey who think that the Rockets are a vehicle to help Şengün unlock his potential more than they think that he's a part of a team. But I'm glad Cam Whitmore's gone. I get that he has talent, but I'm so fucking sick of hearing people like, why isn't Cam Whitmore playing? Like, can we give it a fucking rest? Like, he clearly didn't buy into the team. Whitmore said that he felt he deserved to be on the floor every game, but his defense wasn't up to par, he said in an interview for The Athletic, now that he's with the Washington Wizards. Hey, that's at least honest. But it was really annoying hearing a very large segment of Rockets fans online constantly bitching that Cam Whitmore wasn't out there and that the Rockets were misusing him. Whitmore might be good someday, but is he going to be a good player on a winning basketball team? I don't know. Biggest questions for the Rockets entering this season. We only have a couple questions left. We're close to having complete faith in the current structure. Ime Udoka, Rafael Stone, hell, even Tillman Fertitta, Patrick Fita, right? I mean, we got to be pretty damn close. Ime Udoka got an extension. I imagine there's a chance that Rafael Stone gets an extension. I'm not the biggest Stone fan. I think he's got a bit of an ego, and I don't think he was particularly qualified when he took on the job, just given what his background was. But hey, he was down the hall from Daryl Morey. I guess he was a sponge. Şengün was a great pick. Thompson looks like it was a great pick, among others. Eason and the trade that they made to get all those picks that they did. They didn't swap Harden for Ben Simmons. I mean, there's been a lot of things that he did where he wasn't pressured into doing something fucking stupid, like a lot of GMs across the league seem to be. So I give him a lot of credit, especially considering I was probably one of his biggest detractors. But they are feeling themselves. Both Udoka and Rafael Stone claimed that they were not shopping Jalen Green. I saw someone else on the chat say, I'm kind of happy about Jalen Green being gone. Yeah, same, man. That's from Truth on TikTok. Yeah. I don't think Green really fit in with what the Rockets and specifically with what Ime Udoka was trying to do. But they were claiming they weren't shopping Jalen Green and that they weren't shopping Dylan Brooks. Udoka said he was fine bringing the team back from last year, that they were not shopping Green or Brooks. Quote, it was what became available and who wanted to come to Houston, end quote. Per Rafael Stone, Durant was an opportunity that the Rockets couldn't pass up. And you got to hear this moment, this interaction between Rafael Stone and Brian Windhorst, who is the preeminent NBA reporter. And everyone likes Windy. Stone gets chesty with him. It's pretty funny to hear. This happened about 7 minutes or so into the Rockets Media Day press conference. I'm sure this is the first time that Brian Windhorst has been to Houston to cover the Rockets in a very, very long time. Stone showed some stones here.
Good morning. Rafael, could I ask where the organization is with Kevin's contract situation?
You can ask. I'm not going to answer. I don't talk about where we are with any of our players' contracts.
Okay. Could I also ask?
I mean, subtle, but I think that was a flex. Yeah, Brian, you might be new here, but we don't talk about our players' contracts. He's feeling himself, deservedly, Ime Udoka's got to be feeling himself as well. I'm really excited for this season. And the first look at the Rockets with Kevin Durant is tonight.